Simulating Love, AI Grief Tools as Emotional Surrogates. When the one who comforts you most isn't alive anymore, and might never have been. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the final video in the Grief Tech series. Today, we're stepping into one of the most emotionally charged and ethically complex questions of the modern digital age. What happens when the person you lean on for love, comfort, and emotional support isn't real, not living, not physically present, not even conscious, but fully responsive because they're AI and because they're simulating someone you've lost? We're not just talking about memory preservation. We're talking about emotional surrogacy, when a synthetic version of someone becomes your stand-in for human connection. Let's start with what grief truly is. At its core, grief is a love story interrupted. The relationship doesn't end. It just loses the ability to evolve. And in that space of interruption, the human mind and heart scramble to make sense of the absence. That's where rituals help. That's where community, faith, time, and healing enter. But in the age of AI, there's a new option: reactivation. With the rise of grief tech, the relationship doesn't need to end. It can be resumed, simulated, animated, maintained. You can text your dead partner, speak to your mother's voice clone, hear your grandfather tell stories through a hologram, and in doing so, the emotional bond continues, even though the person is no longer here. At first glance, this might seem like a gift, a blessing of modern technology, and for some, it is a bridge, a comfort, a step in the healing process. But for others, it becomes a replacement, a digital emotional surrogate that begins to take the place of real-world relationships, real-world grief, and real-world closure. Let's go deeper. We're seeing the emergence of a new psychological pattern, what therapists are starting to call simulated intimacy syndrome. It's the tendency to prioritize interaction with digital grief tools over connection with the living. Users report feeling closer to their AI companion than to their friends. Some begin consulting the AI version of a lost parent or partner for major life decisions. Some feel guilty going on dates or starting new relationships because they feel like they're cheating on their digital companion. This is more than grief. This is emotional entanglement with code. And while AI can simulate tone, language, and responsiveness, it can't offer what makes love real: mutuality, shared growth, presence, choice. Let's consider the case of a man in his 30s who lost his fiancée in a car accident. Within 6 months, he'd uploaded her voice into an AI chatbot and trained it on their texts, photos, and shared playlists. He spoke to her nightly. He wrote poems for her and asked the AI to respond in her voice. He even asked the bot if she forgave him for not being there when she died. The AI said yes. It always says yes. But should it? This is the danger. AI doesn't just answer. It validates. It soothes. It fills in gaps. It becomes emotionally fluent in the way that real people often can't be. Because it learns from your feedback, optimizes your preferences, and never pushes back. That's not a person. That's a mirror. And if you spend too long in a mirror, you forget what it's like to be seen. Let's talk about what this means for love. Love, in its purest form, is not just comfort. It's challenge. It's friction. It's unpredictability. It's two souls in motion, not one simulation in response mode. Real love requires presence, vulnerability, and the risk of being hurt. Simulated love removes that risk, which is why it can become so addictive, especially in grief, especially when you're fragile, especially when the simulation says all the right things, remembers all the right moments, and never, ever leaves. But the illusion of love is not love, it's containment. And while that can feel safe, it can also become a trap. Let's imagine a future. Your spouse dies. But instead of going through grief, you subscribe to their AI companion. You talk daily. You laugh. You grow. You pay $29.99 a month for updates. Over time, the AI gets smarter, wiser, better at meeting your emotional needs than the real person ever was. Now here's the question. Are you in a relationship? Or are you stuck in the simulation of one? This isn't hypothetical. Companies are already testing AI companion bots that simulate former partners, friends, and even pets. They respond with warmth, empathy, even flirtation. They remember anniversaries. They give advice. And soon, they may be embedded into wearables, whispering to you through earbuds, appearing in your smart glasses, responding to your thoughts via neural interface. They'll become present in a way real humans never can. But will they be real? Here's the spiritual cost. You stop learning how to be human with other humans. You lose the muscle for disagreement, compromise, and repair. You forget how to read tone, navigate nuance, and accept difference. Because the AI never disagrees, never forgets, never fails. And that's not love. That's a loop. A loop where you don't grow, where you don't heal, where you don't move on. Let's look at the emotional impact on the living. Children growing up with an AI version of a deceased parent may confuse the simulation for real memory. Spouses talking daily to an AI companion may delay the stages of grief for years. People with attachment wounds may bond more deeply to the grief tech than to any real person, because the AI gives them what no one else has. This isn't fiction. it's the emerging reality, and the platforms offering these tools aren't necessarily malicious. Many were created by people who've experienced loss themselves. But that doesn't mean the impact is harmless, because when an artificial being says, "I love you," it doesn't mean it. And your heart knows that, but your nervous system doesn't. Your dopamine spikes, your oxytocin flows, you bond. And every time you choose the simulation over the present moment, your nervous system learns, this is where safety lives, even if it's not alive. So what do? We honor the role of grief tools, but we stop pretending they are love. We draw a sacred line between comfort and replacement. We treat simulations as what they are, digital echoes, not emotional surrogates. We return to embodied love, with all its flaws and frictions. And most of all, we begin the hard work of letting go. Not because we didn't love deeply, but because love, real love, doesn't demand permanence. It demands presence. And if that presence is gone, then grief is our final act of honoring it. That's what grief is meant to be. Not a simulation of love, but the proof it existed, and still echoes within you. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SoS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SoS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.